So I think we should go out to eat tonight. Since I look nice.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Where you want to go?
Probably Sagebrush.
Sagebrush?
Mm-hmm. My friends asked me to go for lunch, but I had a work meeting. Now I want to go now.
Okay.
So, anyways, I couldn't go with them.
Well, we'll ask the Turtles what they want later.
What? What turtles?
The Turtles?
Okay. I was gonna say, do we have turtles? I had 3 turtles growing up. They were all named after the Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah. I'm sure that Donatello was my favorite too.
That was one of their names too. I'm pretty sure we had 3. We didn't have 4 because my mom bought us one each.
Okay.
From Myrtle Beach.
Which one died first?
We had, honestly, we did something we probably shouldn't have done. They all lived. So that's what they told my mom. They're like, you have to buy 3 because one's gonna die. They're most likely they're gonna die.
Yeah.
So you want to buy 3, and all 3 lived for years. One went escaped out of the tank and went missing for 3 weeks in the house. We couldn't find him, and we always said he was a little slow one, and that was Lindsay's turtle. So we were like, that's fitting. But they got so big, and it was just unsafe for them. But we released them into our creek in our neighborhood, which is probably not something you should be doing, in hindsight. Especially, remember when we read that article about the goldfish that they were releasing into the creek, and it grew and evolved into this huge goldfish? Do you remember that article that I sent you?
No, I don't remember it.
It was a while back. But there was a problem in a small town because they were releasing these goldfish as pets into the creek when their kids weren't taking care of them or whatever. They got bored of the fish, and the fish evolved and grew to its environment. And remember, it was about the wastewater treatment system and plants or whatever, wastewater treatment plant, because it was getting stuck in the sewers. And to come to find out, it was the goldfish that manifested itself into this big goldfish.
And it got stuck in the sewer system?
And got stuck in the sewer system. It was a problem. Yeah.
Where was this at?
I don't remember. I'll have to find out. I sent you the article. It was about a year ago, probably.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, dang, what if that happened here? What would your job do? That's what I literally sent that to you.
Well, you call the jet vac and you vacuum it out.
But apparently it's such a huge problem there that they had to do a whole campaign to say, stop flushing your goldfish down the toilet and stop releasing them into the ecosystem. Because this is what's happening to our, it's killing all the other fish in the water, and the whole ecosystem is changing. So it's wild. Anyways.
Well, there's so many animals that are not native to North America that were brought here.
Mm-hmm. But they're causing a big issue.
They cause issues.
Yeah, that was one of them. I mean, it was native here, but it wasn't supposed to be in the creeks. It was supposed to be a pet.
That giant Japanese hornet was the most recent one I can think of.
That came here?
Yeah, it was
they all
deadly.
Came here? Yeah, wow.
It's in it started out, I'm thinking, Washington.
That was during the whole COVID thing, where COVID happened, and then the hornets, they were what else is next? We're all gonna die.
Yeah, I don't remember that article, so.
I wish you did, because it was a really good article.
I really don't think adding, I don't know what kind of turtles they were, but I'm sure they were box turtles. And box turtles are native to North Carolina, so it's not they probably just captured them from the creek in the first place. Probably.
I'm hoping that's the case. It was probably inhumane of them to really be in a small tank, to be honest. That was probably the inhumane part. But hopefully, we thought we did them a good thing. We released them out. But we had them for years, years. To the point where they were outgrowing the tank. and we were gonna have to either buy a bigger tank or we released them. So that's what happened.
I think we're all just a rat in a cage anyway. So
Yeah.
in spite of all of your rage.
So your voice sounds like you're about to rock out. Still just a rat in the cage. Anyways.
What do you think that said originally? You definitely didn't say it. I think it said rat in the cage.
I'm still just a... I don't know. I probably hummed it like... I don't know. Probably not that. It's probably not what I thought it said. But now that you told me, I can't get it out of my head until I hear the song again. And then have to sing it the way I sing it. So, what you want to talk about?
I don't know, Cookie. What you want to talk about?
Well, what we're out to... It wasn't supposed to be turtles and ecosystems and goldfish, so what are we talking about today?
Well, I think what's the biggest story out there right now?
The one that I'm interested in?
Yeah.
The Johnny Depp's case?
Because people ain't
Johnny
interested
Depp
in what I'm interested in. So,
I mean, it's pretty big.
we already know that I'm a weirdo.
The Johnny Depp case? You talking about that? And Amber Heard?
Oh, what about it?
I feel like I should have investigated a little bit more. I'm just seeing clips of it on like TikTok and social media, and Johnny Depp just has me dead. Like, just some of the stuff he says, and, like his facial expressions, like, it's so funny to me.
What's funny? Like, what did he say that was funny?
There was a dang. I always move my phone away so I don't get distracted. But it was like one thing. It was that he said was, I have other use of injury of your throat besides something like I have other uses for your throat besides injury or something. And I was just like, they're just reading the text message. He had that man read that text message like 4 times. Like, can you repeat that? And then he would laugh. He was like, can you read it one more time? like he just reliving like all these text messages. I feel like this whole case is him just like cracking up mostly and reliving like the torture that I feel like she put him through. But him also finding it like amusing that they're literally tearing their lives like apart, basically, like piece by piece, talking about all the chaos that was their relationship.
So he was basically like talking dirty to her in the text, or like...
I think they're trying to like find some incriminating stuff on him, but like that, for instance, I feel like is a sexual...
Is the case in California? Is that where it's at?
I don't know. Probably. Look it up.
Because if it's in California, he's done.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, look it up. But people are going, like, women are going wild on TikTok because they'll like cut that scene and then all the women are like swooning over that. Like, that is the hottest thing ever that they heard of. So I thought that was funny. Virginia. Okay. So the women, all the women on TikTok think that is like the sexiest thing. What he said to her. Mm-hmm. They were like basically like, I volunteer as tribute.
They probably having to go through worse things with poorer people.
Right.
For less money.
Right, exactly.
So
I don't know. I just think like I just feel like he is a movie star. He is a rock star. Not to say that they have to all be a certain way, but sometimes they are, and that's like the lifestyle that that's the lifestyle they live, whether they want to live that or not. Like, that just comes with being famous. I don't know.
I don't understand what you mean. You mean like you should just be expected to be assaulted by a rock star?
No. Maybe I worded that wrong. I probably did. So like, Johnny Depp is an actor. He also played. He's like also in a band, and I think he also paints. Like so, he's like through and through like an artist. So no offense, artists are already a little weird in the best way possible. I mean, I love weird. I love artists. But their brain is kind of wired differently than other people. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Amber should have known that his brain is wired a little differently than other people. And like, I think, not saying that she assaulted him, he assaulted her. I'm pretty sure they're countersuing each other because they both beat up on each other. She's claiming he beat up on her, and he's claiming she beat up on him. I don't know. I probably should have found out some more information before we started talking about this, but I'm just amused by all the TikToks that I'm watching. He called her Mr. Squarehead. I was cracking up.
So have you ever known someone that just has like crazy love? Like a couple that just like, they argue a lot, but then they're like super in love with each other.
Yeah.
Or like they're like completely wrong for each other, but they love the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Type deal. I feel like this is like that case.
But that's toxic, though. That's a toxic relationship.
Well, yeah.
So.
I don't disagree with you because, you know, I personally don't believe in that kind of relationship, but
Me
you know,
either.
if a girl is shitting on your pillow,
Language.
if a girl is taking a number 2 on your pillow.
Well, she tried to claim it was animal feces, but then they tested it or something, or
That's how you know you got money, if you're testing it to see if something's human feces or not.
Right. I'm pretty sure then they found out it was. I find it really interesting.
You don't think it was the little Coco dog?
No, my God. Honestly,
Did it on the pillow?
I just find it interesting that we're hearing more about this case than we did about the sex trafficking, child trafficking case. Because to me, this case is just, to me, a little bit more humorous. I know it's probably not supposed to be intended that way, but it's like we're literally watching every detail and listening to every detail of what this lawyer is saying about their relationship, and it's just.
Well, I really think that they thought that the case would show, you know, that this actor who has a lot of power was basically just beating up on this woman.
And it's not. They can't find the evidence.
And it's basically, so far, you know, she hasn't taken the stand yet.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, there could be other things that are coming out, but I feel like, you know, Johnny Depp's on the stand. If they had something, like, they would be presenting it.
And I don't think they have anything. That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for him. Ultimately, when I'm listening and watching the trial, I feel bad for him because some of the stuff that he had to go through right now, again, haven't heard her side yet, but I mean, he hasn't been in anything since she accused him of beating her up. He's been eliminated from Hollywood, basically. He's such an amazing and talented actor, and frankly, you know, I'm just kind of tired of like the pointing fingers and accusing especially without evidence to ruin somebody's career and life. Like, that really messes people up. So if you're lying to put someone else down and to, you know, I don't know. It mind blows. I don't know how she could sleep at night if she's falsely accusing him and she was really the abuser to him.
Well, it's like the whole, you know, spousal abuse in general is a catch-22, right? Because if you try to help the victim, 90% of the time the victim goes back to the abuser.
Well, yeah, because they're scared.
You know, scared, whatever. They actually love the person, like they believe and forgive them. You know, whatever reason they go back.
They're not together though.
And then it puts you in that bad place because you're the bad guy now because you're against that person.
Because you were trying to help.
You know, because you were trying to help that person get away or whatever. You know, got them to a woman's shelter or, you know.
But that's almost like, you know, when we first met, if I told one specific person, a friend, that you did X, Y, Z to me and I didn't like that, and all they hear is me negatively talk about you.
That's going to be what they believe.
But that's going to be what they believe. Even though maybe that's like a 0.1% of our relationship. Like, you told me no and I got upset about something. Like, and I went and I was like, Nate makes me so mad. He did this. And they're always just going to see that negative side, which is not the true picture of who you are and what our relationship is as a person. I'm just using that as an example. That's why, you know, I'm very careful about who I talk to and vent to about anything, you know, because I don't want them to think that one-sided way about the situation when obviously there's multiple sides to it. So I have not had people beat on me like that, but also I've not been married, so
yeah, I'm just waiting for you to kick my ass when we get married.
Chill. Well, I'm not a made woman, so I don't have anything to worry about.
Yeah, I think this is definitely an angry love situation. Like, they probably had great passion for each other, and
it just fizzled out.
You know, and fizzled out. They had nothing left but the anger. So, and I don't know. Maybe he had like an ironclad prenup or something, and that's why she's having to sue. Yeah, she probably broke. But she's probably broke now too. But.
Well, I think she was supposed to be an actress too, and since that whole incident, she's also in blacklisting him or whatever. She's also got blacklisted. People don't want to work with her either. I think because Johnny Depp is Johnny Depp. Like, she's going against Johnny Depp. You know, regardless if he did it or not. They're basically saying people don't want to work with her either because of what the influential power Johnny has as well. I don't know. I hear things from Winona Ryder, who really loved Johnny Depp, and I mean, a lot of other women have said that he has never hurt them. That's why you don't see women coming up, because normally if there's a case against a man, you'll see a lot of women come up and say, well, he did it to me, hashtag me too. Yeah, and this one doesn't have that. This doesn't have that, and people just have respect for Johnny Depp. So I look at him, and my instinct is that he's not like that. That he's actually a very gentle person. Like I said, he's an artistic person. I
think the funniest one that you showed me was the lawyer asked Johnny, the lawyer said, would you say you're a lot bigger than Amber?
Yeah. He said.
And he goes, no, I would not say that.
Or not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
And then her face goes like, basically like, well, he just called me fat, so.
I mean, he's got to be like 140 pounds soaking wet, maybe 150.
Yeah.
You know, so.
You need to look, just if you want some funny, like, I know I'm not trying to make fun of the case, but it's really honestly being portrayed in a funny way. Look up Johnny Depp on TikTok, and you'll see all these people, like, the clips of this, and it is just, to me, it almost is like a play. Like, it almost is being portrayed like it's a movie, like it's an act. To me, it's just crazy. Not him acting, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not him being an actor, but it's literally reading to me like it's a play. And he's the star, like, obviously. Like, but he's just being himself, but it's literally reading like that. So we'll see what the case turns out to be like.
Oh yeah, and didn't she cut off his finger or something?
Yeah. He claims
Let's say
that.
I'm hearing about all the crazy stuff she's doing. I haven't heard
Anything that he did.
any crazy thing that he did.
The lawyer had to like reword that because he was like, they want to make Johnny look like he did it himself, and the lawyer's like, yeah, so the incident with your finger, he had to catch himself and like reword it because he was going to say Amber allegedly did this, but he's like, yeah, it was at the same night of the incident of your finger, instead of saying, oh, that's when Amber chopped off your finger. Like, just crazy stuff. Anyways,
and I'm gonna say one more thing about this case, and then we'll move on. But so the lawyer is trying his best to prove that Johnny Depp was basically a drunk.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
An alcoholic.
He can't remember.
And this is something that you learn, training with firearms, is that a story cannot be believed if it's a story that is influenced by substances. Right? So, including alcohol, like, so you witnessed an incident, but you were drunk or high, your story cannot be used in a court of law, basically.
It's like not credible.
It's not a credible source anymore. So, I know a lot of people drink out there, especially since the pandemic. Alcohol abuse and drug abuse have gone wild. But if there's a good reason, is that you can't defend yourself in a court of law if you're impaired. So that's the last thing I'll say about that.
That's all I want to say too.
We'll see what Amber has to say if she gets on the stand. But
yep.
What else you got, Pookie?
That was all I had.
That's it?
What else, babe?
What else is hot? You tell me. What's going on?
I don't know.
What are you seeing?
I see the gym. That's about it. I've been in the gym.
Well, if you've been in the gym, what have you seen on every major news station? Elon Musk buys Twitter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
Right? Elon Musk. So Elon Musk buys Twitter for $54 a share. When he announced it was trading for $42 a share, which equals $44 billion.
But he's buying all of Twitter, so he's buying everybody out.
Yes.
At what price?
At $54 a share.
How did they come up with that?
So I'm not really sure how Elon came up with that, but that's 75 times earnings. 45 billion is 75 times earnings for Twitter.
Meaning that he's paying them more.
Yeah, he's paying. So if you compare it to other platforms like Facebook, Snapchat, all that, they're all trading for like 20 times earnings. And he's paying triple really what it's worth.
Dang.
So
we should have bought Twitter.
No, absolutely not. Because
you
don't know if the deal is really going to go through or not. The SEC could come and block the deal.
Why would they do that?
Because somebody's against Elon Musk. I don't know.
Oh, so it hasn't gone through yet.
No, it hasn't completely gone through yet.
So
the board has officially approved the sale.
Oh, okay. So
but the SEC
yet.
and all these regulatory agencies still have to kind of approve it too.
So nobody's got paid yet.
Right. That's right.
But he owned 10% of Twitter first, right?
Yeah. So what he was originally going to try to do is he was going to try basically what's called a takeover. Right. And that's when you buy enough shares to have the majority share ownership. And then you get a board seat and control what's going on.
Gotcha. But then he was like, whatever, I want to buy.
Which is honestly the cheaper way. Like, he really should have just did that.
No.
But the problem with that is you really can't sit on two boards of the publicly traded companies. That it's kind of frowned upon. So, I mean, he's not going to give up his board seat at Tesla to sit on the board of Twitter. So,
Why would he have to do that?
But the real question is why is he buying Twitter?
Why would he have to give up his seat on Tesla?
Like I said, it's just frowned upon. The SEC frowns upon it.
Oh, to have multiple businesses?
Because it makes you a monopoly.
How is Tesla and Twitter a monopoly? How would that make him?
It's not. It's just like frowned upon.
So you can only have own one company?
No, you can own it, but you can't sit on the board of it.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like you're having controlling interest of too much of the sector.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
But they would basically do it under antitrust laws or anti-monopoly laws. Right? So that's why he's going to buy it and take it from public to private. So then he's on the board of a private company. And that's really why all his other little companies aren't public. They're all private.
Okay.
Right?
So now he can be on Tesla and he can be on all the other ones if he privately owns them.
So, but the real question is, why is he buying Twitter? Like, is he really buying Twitter because he believes in the free speech? And Twitter's already an established platform that he can just transfer a little bit and make it better, or
he's buying it.
Or is he buying it for some other reason?
He's buying it so Trump can come back.
Well, I don't really think.
I'm kidding. I don't know.
Trump and Elon have the same politics, but they might.
Maybe he doesn't think it's fair that Trump was taken off of Twitter. I really think there's a bigger reason. Like, it's not just because people need to have freedom of speech. Because if that's the case, he would just go and buy Facebook.
Well, see, that's the thing. Facebook's too expensive, right? Facebook is, I think Mark Zuckerberg's like the third richest or fourth richest person in the world.
Crazy.
I don't know. Comment down below if you know how rich Mark Zuckerberg is.
He's pretty rich.
But Facebook is worth way, way, way more. Like, Elon Musk is not rich enough to buy Facebook outright.
But so what's the reason that you think?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. Is it free speech or is it something else?
I think it's something else. I really don't think he cares that much about our freedom of speech.
All right. So,
meaning the public. So unless they're going to try to push another agenda on us again, like maybe there's another.
So you think he knows that there's another agenda coming and he could stop it?
He can stop it, or he
by using his platform
can be a part of it. Either way.
So this is what I think. So you know how Facebook is like coming up with basically what they call Web 3, right? Where you live inside a metaverse. Right? Like you have housing and land and whatever else you're living.
Which I don't understand, but it's like Farmville.
It's like Farmville, except it's 3D and you can see it and all that stuff. I think this is like his way of I think he's basically going to make a decentralized platform on Web3. So I think he's going to use Dogecoin and the Bitcoin network.
Yeah.
To basically host his platform, Twitter. Right?
That's
interesting. So literally no government would have control over it. Like no regulatory agency would actually have control of Twitter. And it would be a private company, so it's not regulated by the SEC and all that stuff. So when this was announced, you saw that Dogecoin jumped like 20%.
But it's back down again.
Yeah, it's back down again.
But that would make sense, though. Him using like a cryptocurrency in the metaverse. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically to create like a metaverse type situation where you're on a decentralized exchange like Bitcoin or Ethereum,
So like you're walking around with your little goggles on real life in the metaverse, and you go to the store and you say, I want this painting for my house in the metaverse. And then we would use coins.
Well, his idea is not necessarily that, but his idea is just to have everything decentralized. Right? So if you decentralize everything, then nobody can tell you what you can and can't say except for the person that owns the platform. Right? It's like decentralized.
So what would Dogecoin have to do with that?
It's almost like trying to make sure that the real truth is out there, whatever that real truth is. There's no one controlling the narrative.
That would be very interesting to see that, if that's the case. It sounds like that would be the case. That could be a plausible thing. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the metaverse, though. Like, I still don't understand what that means. I really don't. Like, I don't see why that would be fun. Like, is it just an escape from, like, the real world? Like,
well, it's just so right now we are on exchanges that are owned by people, right? So Facebook is owned by Mark Zuckerberg,
right, and a group of people. Like, but the idea with the metaverse and Web3 is that you own the platform, right? You as an individual. So I could sit here and make this big art museum on my digital platform, and people come see it. They're on my platform. They can't see it on a website?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't make any...
It's different. It's, it's 3D.
I get it, but...
It's your vision, your hearing. And then, so Elon's also messing with, like, Neuralink, right? Where you link your mind to robotics and stuff like that. So imagine...
That's kind of cool.
Imagine you have a smell in the metaverse and you actually smell it because of Neuralink and artificial intelligence.
That's so weird. I can't.
Right, stuff like that. So like that's kind of
scary,
like
though. That's really cool, but that's really scary.
That's kind of the direction that Elon Musk is going. So I don't think it has anything to do with free speech.
So you think he's going to tap into my brain? And
I think he's given a platform for his artificial intelligence to be on that he's created.
But I'm saying, like you're saying, he could get in your brain, and if I'm in the metaverse and I'm at a gallery and it's about garbage, I'm gonna smell garbage because I'm wearing whatever this device is that makes me connect with that, and it's triggering a neuron in my brain or whatever.
Yeah, so Elon Musk has taken over your brain. That's right.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
So
no, I'm just saying that's crazy because people were scared of social media.
Yeah.
And like looking at it now, it's like, okay, this is normal. But like people are like, don't put all your information on social media. Oh, you're not getting a job because of your social media. And now it's just like, okay, you got a social media. Okay, you're a whole new you're a whole other person outside this job. Cool, we'll hire you though.
Well, what were the fears of social media? So your 15-year-old daughter posts on there, she's home alone,
and someone comes
and someone sees that and comes and rapes her or kidnaps her.
Oh my god.
Those are the fears of social media, or like...
Okay, but so now you're going into the metaverse. That's a fear too, right? I mean, you meet all these
I'm going to continue talking
people.
about what were the fears of social media.
Okay.
So, kidnapping, right?
Sexual assault,
child predators.
Stealing your money.
Yeah, so hacking.
Being
hacked to take your money.
Stalking.
A guy at work just got his bank account locked again because he got hacked again.
Know his password. I'm just playing.
I don't know.
I'm just playing. I don't know the situation. I don't know who you're talking about.
You know, so
don't tell me, because then I'll say that made sense.
You know, so that happens. That happens all the time.
It really does, yeah.
People use debit cards online, and then all of a sudden their bank account is hacked. Mm-hmm. You know, and it has to get shut down. They got to get new bank account numbers, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But that's why I use MasterCard and Visa to protect myself.
Now they know we use MasterCard and Visa, so.
Yeah, they know.
Just say
everybody uses
card.
MasterCard and Visa.
Why can't you say just a credit?
Because I'm shouting out MasterCard and Visa. That's why.
Okay.
Buy the stock.
Okay, so those are the dangers.
Comment down below and tell me more dangers of social media.
But I'm saying
there's a lot more. Like, we're not going to sit here for 3 hours talking about them, but just.
We should give us something to talk about. I'm kidding, but no. So with that being said, that's what I'm saying. People thought social media was so taboo and like you shouldn't get it and you should not be on it, but you're gonna let someone tap into your brain and control your receptors in your brain. Like, that's what I'm saying. That's the part that doesn't make sense. I probably would let them do it 20 or 30 years from now, but I'm still thinking like, what?
So the biggest thing he's using for it now is people with like disabilities.
See, that's
so people
cool.
that like have spinal cord injuries. That's like Neuralink's #1. Like, they're trying to get FDA approval for their stuff now.
But that's how all the movies start. They try to do it for a good reason,
and then somebody takes it over,
and they do an evil thing. That's a basis of every movie in Hollywood. So I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, it sounds like a great thing to do. It's just scary at the same time. But yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
All right, so here is another question. Like, you know, the First Amendment protects us with free speech, but does that amendment apply to social media apps? Like, should you have free speech and free reign on social media apps?
Should you? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. Like, should you freely be able to say what you want to say?
That's catch-22.
Right, so it's just like, so every amendment is good to a certain extent. When your free speech causes damage to someone else.
Right.
So, like, if you went into a building and yelled fire, and there was no fire and someone got trampled and died, your free speech doesn't protect you from you being the cause of that death. Correct. Right? So, the reason that certain people were kicked off of Twitter is because what they were talking about led to people getting hurt. Right?
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Every freedom has a limit.
It's just how far are we going to be limited?
Yeah.
That's really just the question. Like, it almost comes back to like how, you know, your ethics, morals, background play into that. Like, I'm not going to get on social media and call somebody a fat slob, you suck, I hate your content, you're a horrible person, like, because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. Like, that's not a nice thing to do. And I've also, you know, you think about that stuff, you're brought up that way, but some people are just really hateful and mean people. And I just don't understand that part of it. Like, if I don't like something, I just move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm on social media, ignore, or I'm not going to watch that person again. I don't really like this, but I'm not going to comment like, I hate your content. You suck. You're a horrible person. Like, why? Who does that make feel better? Like, do you feel better when you do that? put somebody down? Like,
well, I think more of the limitation, like, that's not really a limitation. It's really, the limitation is like you slandering someone where they lose their business, or, you know, someone attacks them because of your slander.
oh,
You know, stuff like that. Like, but free speech is really to protect you talking against the government.
right.
Right? Because back in the day, if you talk, you know, back in the day, before the United States,
Dang,
if you
way
talk,
back in the day.
if you talk against your emperor or king or, you know, whatever they were doing, or not even that. So, you know, kings had appointees that represented them in each territory that they all, you know.
I'm convinced that's my first
And if you went
mind.
against them,
I'm pretty sure I was a peasant in a past life that did that.
then you would be murdered. Like,
That's probably why I feel like I need to speak up for everything and everyone now.
right. You know, so that's really what free speech is really for, is so that
It's not really for
you can
you.
freely talk against whatever the government's doing if you're against it.
Without feeling like you're gonna get unalived for it.
So I think that's really where people are so upset, because most of the things that were taken off were things that were against the government and what the government was doing.
What do you mean taken off?
So like Facebook was going through deleting things,
Oh, yeah.
and it was about what they were doing in response to the coronavirus. The content.
Well, because honestly, too, like, I don't agree with it, but I see why they did that. Because, in my opinion, people think social media is the truth.
Right.
Like, no, that's their truth. That's not everybody's truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to choose to believe and you've done your research and you think that's true, we talked about this the other day. It was like, in college or high school, you had to write an argumentative paper. You could literally go on Google and find all these scholarly articles to prove your exact point. So
No matter what the
point was.
Somebody had written something to back you up.
Right. So it's like and I think that's the scary part now, being in the information age, is that there's so much truths that we just don't even know.
Right.
Does that make sense? I know that's kind of like a little out there, but it's like, what if everything is true? And that's kind of mind blowing. Like, I sound like crazy, but like, what if everything is true? Like, what if what you went through, for example, let's say you went through something and you explained, well, this is what happened to me, and then your brother was there and he was like, that's not what happened to me. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Like, his whole perception
could have been different.
is different from your perception. And then you don't even know. You're like, no, why you're calling me a liar? And then he's like, well, you're calling me a liar. It's like, what if everything is true or not true?
Usually the truth is somewhere in the middle. If it's two perspectives, it's
Right, somewhere in the middle.
three-sided coin, right?
It's just something to think
tails,
about.
and the edge.
That's really deep.
Right.
That should be a shirt idea. What if it's
Live on the edge.
What if it's all true?
And you have a quarter. That is a shirt.
No, what if it's all true?
What if it's all true?
Yeah.
God's just messing with you. It's all actually true.
Like, what if everything is true?
Yeah.
But
a lot of the
write that down.
Okay, I will.
What if it's all true? Do it.
Okay, I got
Or I
you.
forget. Intermission. Intermission, because I'm going to bake this shirt and y'all going to buy it. One of y'all potheads would buy it.
You could make posters. We have posters. We have aprons. We have pillows, cups. We can put it on a cup for you.
Yeah, I want a shirt.
You know.
But anyways.
At Ensorsale.com.
Ensorsale.com. Go ahead.
But basically, it's like, well, where do you limit free speech on social media platforms? Basically, the only reason, you know, they were limiting free speech is because of advertisers, right?
They were losing money.
Yeah. Money was the reason that they started, you know, some people think it's like some conspiracy theory against one side or the other, like,
no.
Well, if this business won't do business with you because this person's saying something on your app, you're going to get rid of that person on the app.
Right. Or you're not going to lose a whole bunch of money over somebody who uses your website for free.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Good point.
So to me, that's really what's really been going on. But, you know, I guess Elon Musk thinks he can make money from advertisers, you know. Either that or he's going to make the platform you pay for it, but you know, I don't see why you would. But honestly, that's what I would do. I'd get some people to be exclusive on my platform.
Don't be giving away your ideas to people.
And then I'd make people pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 99 cents a year.
Didn't MySpace do that with certain songs? Like, I think like the next, I don't know if this is true or not, but the next phase, like you could get the standard MySpace and get whatever song there was, and then like you could buy songs before they went out of. Let me know if y'all know. I could be making this up, but
it's a cool concept. If Tom did that, Tom's still pretty cool. I don't care what everybody says. He's still my friend on MySpace.
Can you log on to your MySpace?
Yeah, I reset the password.
I want to see it.
Log on.
Yeah, you cannot?
Yeah, I can log on.
Oh, okay.
But it's not
I can't log on.
I mean, everything's been deleted.
Oh, all your stuff's been deleted? I thought the internet was forever.
Ooh. No, it's only as long as the servers work. That was why people at first couldn't get behind Bitcoin, because there wasn't enough servers all over the world to say, well, it can exist forever, even if all the servers go down. All the transactions will still happen. Like,
that's the case now, or
yeah, because there's so many servers. Like the likelihood that all the servers would go down is unlikely, because it's all over the world. But then number two, if it does go down, as soon as it comes back up, it all
gets reinstated again.
Yeah, it all goes through the process.
Okay.
You know, it's like supposedly like the perfect algorithm. I don't know.
Interesting. We'll see. Hopefully,
that's why it's so slow though.
What? The Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Server?
That's why it's kind of like gold, where nobody really uses gold, right? Where it is jewelry, but as far as like
trading it for money and stuff.
Yeah, trading it for stuff, you're not doing that with gold.
Unless you go to the pawn shop. Well, that was a good discussion about Elon and his intentions of buying Twitter. What do y'all think? Let us know. We told you what we thought. If you agree with us, let us know. If you don't, let us know.
So did you hear about Netflix?
What about it?
So Netflix stock dropped 38% in one day after earnings, after their earnings call.
That's wild.
They apparently lost 200,000 subscribers last quarter.
Did you hear that Blockbuster announced it was coming back?
Wow. The apocalypse is here.
Kidding.
Is that what you think is going on?
I'm kidding though. What?
Blockbuster's making a comeback. They're going to go to 2 stores now instead of 1.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just think that Netflix has, this is a long time coming basically. Like the Netflix stock is very high. they already were trying to say that Netflix has an agenda of promoting like young people and sexualizing young kids and boycotting Netflix. So I feel like what's it called? Accumulation?
Cumulative. The cumulative effect.
That sounds gross. The cumulative effect of all of that, plus them raising prices and limiting users, like it was like just doing too much at one time. So I could see how it would drop.
I think people were just out of content, man.
I mean,
like Netflix literally dropped more content from 2020 to now than places have dropped, their entire lifespan.
Hollywood, yeah.
Then Hollywood's dropped its entire lifespan.
If Netflix needs more content, they need to reach out and make it known how to submit content. Cause, hello, here. I can come up with a screenplay and send it in.
I mean, they're literally like, everything is a repeat now. Like, they literally have like 10 things up there about robbing banks. And it's the same thing.
And that movie that we watched yesterday was the same exact almost movie as the
lady stuck in a window.
A girl in the window.
Because of anxiety or whatever. Mm-hmm. Killed her kid.
There's like 2 movies like that. The same thing. And they're all like... all the movies like are not fun, like, you know what I'm saying, like they're not funny movies. Like there are no comedies out on Netflix right now, really. New comedies.
Like they just came out with that one new one where they were stuck in there because of COVID,
and it wasn't.
They were basically
even that
making everything, making fun of everything, all the COVID rules.
Yeah. Like that wasn't even that funny.
That's like the only, and that's not a new concept, because YouTubers have been making fun of that stuff for a while, but.
So you just think they're out of content?
I wouldn't say they're out. It's just like all repeating now. Like everybody's watched all the content they're going to watch. So, and then you also got the introduction of all this competition.
Yeah.
Basically forced competition. HBO Max is literally like getting movies that were on the big screen.
Yeah.
While they're still on the big screen.
I don't even see how
Netflix didn't make that deal, you know what I'm saying?
I don't even think that should be a thing. I really don't. But I guess it makes sense because they would release a movie, it'd go to the movie theater, then it would leave the movie theater and go to the $1.50 or like the discounted movie theater. Mm-hmm. Then it would be released on tape or DVD.
Yeah.
So it's like it's skipping that step, and like I'm all for doing new things and changing stuff up, but it's going to be the end of big, going to the movies and having that experience. Like I don't think we're going to be able to bring our kids to a movie theater. I don't think if they keep doing it like on this path that they're doing it, like there won't be movie theaters anymore.
It's because Hollywood has always had a liberal agenda for a long time. Like,
I think now it's just more obvious.
Starting back in the day with like Marilyn Monroe, like.
What about her?
So when Marilyn Monroe was popular, she was popular because she wore dresses they considered skimpy. Mm-hmm. Well, now what she's doing is not even skimpy to us. So it's not risque.
How's that liberal? Didn't you say liberal?
Yeah, it's like a liberal. It's pushing the boundaries of morality. Whatever you want.
That's like how far can they push it now? They
pushed it so far.
Yeah.
That the things they're pushing into are things that people are really giving real backlash to.
Yeah, because it's very obvious.
It's not like, oh, I'm showing a little bit of skin.
It's like now I'm not showing anything, or I'm showing full fledged.
Like there was a TikTok trend where it was like go to this time period on this show.
Yeah.
And it was basically a guy's
Yes. Okay, that's enough. Yeah.
Genitals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like that's what the TikTok, which TikTok is for children, or at least it was at the time.
It was supposed to be like in the beginning. I thought it was supposed to be for like.
And that's where the TikToks were sending these kids. Right. So,
yeah, because
So that's kind of like pushing the boundaries.
I mean,
of what's appropriate.
Yeah, we can get into even more than that. Like you said, like Netflix sexualizing children on that show, and
like it's like the cheerleader one. Mm-hmm. That you're talking about.
Yeah.
I said I never watched.
Yeah, that. We're not. Yeah, because it's not. That's not something that we would be interested in.
Well, we just heard about it, so
But I don't know.
But I feel like Hollywood has always had some sort of liberal agenda, so that's not really something new.
But like you said, it makes sense what you said. They're pushing closer and closer into it being obvious that that's the agenda that they're trying to go to, and we're just not having it.
That's how Netflix was beating like TNT and the AMC channel and TBS, all these people that do movie reruns, because that's basically what Netflix started out as, was movie reruns. They would put to be honest, I'm pretty sure it started out as instead of going to Blockbuster to rent the movie after it came out on the big screen and it was there for a couple weeks, instead of like going to buy the DVD, you would go. It would just show up to your house.
Yeah, it was like Blockbuster. It was literally Blockbuster, but it would show up to your house. The DVD. So you would be able to rent it. You didn't have to leave and go to Blockbuster. Like that was really what it all, like Amazon in that time frame too, and here with Netflix, that's how it started. It was like, don't have, which is kind of scary because, obviously like we do all of our shopping now without, people do all their shopping without even leaving the house, but that was what Netflix was. You go online, you pick the movie that you want to watch, you get it delivered to your house, you watch it at the privacy of your own home, you don't have to take it back to Netflix, to Blockbuster, or a physical store, you would just mail it in, and if you really like the movie, you would go buy it.
Or you just keep it.
I think they started doing that later. In the beginning, I don't think you could keep it.
We had the Blockbuster version.
Yeah, I don't think you
Before
could keep it.
Before it was too late.
Yeah, y'all be trying to save companies just like you and Nextel.
Yeah, man, I kept Nextel.
Y'all are loyal. Y'all are some
Nextel.
loyal people.
Miss Nextel with a passion.
Chirp, chirp.
Y'all
are loyal.
I still hate having to wait, ring to get somebody.
That's so funny.
When you could just go doo-doo.
Just chirp them. That's funny.
That's why, I'm mostly a text person. Want to get up with me, text me.
I just don't even want to talk to people anymore, so just text me. If I respond, cool. If not, I'll get back to you in 5 to 7 business days. I'm kidding, but yeah.
But all the other stuff, I really disagree. Like why Netflix is losing its customers. Like
what?
That they're making people share. People that are sharing passwords, like they're kicking them off, like stuff.
You
like
say
that.
You don't think that's happening?
No, I don't think they're doing that. Like I don't think their algorithm is that good.
I don't either, because I don't know. Yeah.
But I do think that it is becoming more expensive for them to make content because all the simple content has been done.
Yeah.
Like anything that would be cheaply done has been done. Like I say, and some of their Netflix originals had like big time actors in it, like The Rock and Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
You got Adam Sandler on there. You got Jennifer Aniston was on there.
I was gonna say, I think people wanted to. I'm switching gears. I think Netflix at the time really did push the, you know what I'm saying, push the boundaries, change the way we thought about movies. But now there are other people taking what Netflix has done great and then making it better for cheaper and partnering, and it just makes more sense. Like if you're paying $500, or not $500, but $200 for subscriptions, like, you know,
yeah,
are you going to cut?
Goes up.
You're going to cut your subscriptions out.
Which one is going to go? The one you're not using anymore because you done watched everything.
Right. So it's almost like they need to do like a re-campaign almost. Like they need to do a reset. You know, not a full reset, but just a different marketing campaign. Let people share accounts again. Like,
well, the truth is their number one genre should be comedies.
You would think this is a depressing world. Like, I don't want to sit here and watch. I mean, I do like murder mysteries, so that's fine. But like, I don't want to sit here and watch end of the world stuff. Like we're already going through end of the world stuff.
Half of their movies and TV shows are all end of the world stuff.
Like, if I wanted to watch that, I would go walk around outside.
Like it ain't that bad out there.
It's not, but no. Like, I just saw something. It's not end of the world stuff, but it's like my friend just got her car broken, like window smashed in Wilmington, and she was like, I was in a nice part of Wilmington. Like,
boys will be boys, right?
What?
Just kidding.
No, but like, it's just crazy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Not saying that's end of the world stuff, but I'm just saying people are crazy and going, like, movies, I feel like, are an escape from a reality, not let's get so close to reality of what could happen and let me bring you and drag you into this world that really could happen. Like, I want to watch something funny and laugh and forget that I just had a crappy day or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're looking for.
And I think movies in general have moved away from that, and they need to be brought back to that. Like that Nicolas Cage movie, that was funny.
Yeah.
So.
It was basically Nicolas Cage making fun of himself.
Mm-hmm. It was really good. Like, I hope it.
But that was good enough to make it to the theaters.
I know. That's yeah. Or they didn't sign a deal.
Yeah.
With another outlet. But anyways, you're just thinking they were running out of content, and that's
or whoever chooses their content likes a certain type of content, and they kept choosing that content, and then by the time they realized, oh, I have too many of this type of content, all these other streaming services picked up the rest. Right, like Euphoria is on HBO. Like,
yeah,
Euphoria could 100% been on Netflix.
Definitely,
they probably just didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
you know, because all those actors are unknown actors.
Well,
all of them.
Zendaya was not.
Zendaya had been in Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, so she was like the only one of all of those people.
Yeah.
You know. I think, what's his name was literally in like a deli or something.
A deli?
Or he worked at a shoe store or something. Whatever. The one that acts dumb.
On Euphoria?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Angus Cloud? Fez?
Fez, yeah.
What about him?
Where was he working before he got his big break?
Oh, I don't know.
He got his big break on that show.
Yeah, like they came up to him and was like, you're the perfect character for the show that we're doing. Like, you are the character. Like, he doesn't even have to act. He was the character, yeah.
Exactly.
He got discovered, just like, I think, I don't know if it was a shoe store, I just know he got discovered
while he was working
somewhere.
I think it was not even a waiter.
I think he was a waiter.
Which a lot of movie stores are waiters, but you know what I'm saying? So it's not like these guys were getting rich
I just think there's
from the first season of their show.
There's so many streaming outlets now. There's so many apps. There's so many like things that you're gonna cut whatever costs the most money. You're gonna probably cut, and you get the least amount. Like you're gonna keep Disney because Disney has sports, right? The sports package or whatever.
Yeah. So if you get Disney Plus, Disney also made it where you got Hulu.
Right.
So that's live TV, basically, or the next day after it comes out on live TV, you get that, and then you get ESPN Plus, which is live sports. So it's a no-brainer to pay $13.99 or whatever it is for Disney Plus to get 3 apps.
Right.
And then before Disney Plus came out, what was making Netflix so good was that they had all the Marvel stuff. Well, now that's on Disney Plus. You know, so Netflix still has some of it, but those big blockbuster movies are not coming to Netflix. They're going to Disney Plus instead.
Right. That's all. And this could, I kind of already just mentioned this, but it could be a key factor in showing us like the economy isn't doing well. Like maybe people can't afford subscriptions anymore, and that's also pretty scary. Yeah, so they're cutting what they're not necessarily needing to survive.
Right.
You know, like I'm not gonna. If I didn't want to work anymore, I wanted to work less or work a less stress. I'm just saying this in general, a less stress-free life. I wanted to show up, work my 3 hours a day, just enough to pay my bills. I'm cutting the subscriptions. I'm cutting, lowering my cell phone plan. I'm getting rid of everything that's extra, so that I don't have to work to pay for those subscriptions or anything extra necessities non-necessities that I need. Maybe that's what people are doing. Amazon cut. Like if you were trying to live a simplistic lifestyle because you had to.
Yeah, so Amazon's price went up.
They're probably going to get cut too.
You know, if you figure your average,
and it's a lot. I think
you figure your average shipping is, say it's $5.99 to ship something, and you have less than 12 orders a year from Amazon. It's not worth the 12. Basically, it's not worth. Amazon's basically $12.99 a month.
It's going.
But
up.
you just pay it all at one time.
Also, you know they say all this like, oh, you get free Kindles and stuff like that. You can join a public library and get all that stuff now,
right?
For free. Like you don't need to have an Amazon subscription to read books from your Kindle. Like you could rent them. You could do that at the library. Supposedly, I haven't tried it. But I heard that was like a little hack. Now some libraries have that. We should go talk. We should go ask ours. But yeah. So.
But we still got Netflix. We still support Netflix.
Yeah, and if it, I think I'm hoping that it does go back up. Because, like I said, if it doesn't and it keeps sinking, I do feel like that's a reflection of the economy. So.
But in 2020, during the pandemic, it got so bad with pandemic type content, where end of world content, that we literally just started watching the Vampire Diaries over again.
Yeah, we did. That was during COVID?
Yeah, that was during COVID. And then the Vampire Diaries trended on Netflix again. And then all those actors got popular again on TikTok. So then they brought Nina Dobrev back, for her movies.
She had been missing for a while, yeah.
Because of the popularity of Vampire Diaries.
Also, the numbers could be kind of skewed now that I'm thinking about it too. Hopefully, the numbers are just skewed because when we were all in lockdown, what else was there collectively in the world? Some places were affected differently. What was everybody doing? They were staying at home, watching TV.
And you could either watch the coronavirus coverage on TV or you could watch Netflix, right?
And that's when all those other things where you could watch movies before they came to the movie theater started popping off, and that was during COVID. So maybe the numbers are just skewed, and now they're like kind of leveling out back to what they were prior to COVID. We'll have to do a little bit of research on that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so like I said, in the last podcast we talked about how Netflix went from $8 to $400. Well, now it's back down to $200. So
it sounds like it's evening out, but we'll do a little bit of more research on that.
It's back to trading 20 to 1 instead of 40 to 1.
Right.
Which is average for that sector, 20 to 1. It's not overpriced, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gonna buy it?
No.
You buying the dip?
I'm not buying it at $200. That's not my price range. That's too high.
Bill Ackman, he had bought the dip in January.
Who was that?
So Bill Ackman is a famous hedge fund investor.
I was going to say that last name sounded familiar.
He's mostly known for having like big time SPAC deals.
Okay.
All right. So when this happened, he literally lost $400 million in one day.
Because he bought
Netflix.
At what? $400?
I think he bought the dip
share?
at like $350 or something like that.
Oh, damn. That's crazy.
Thinking it was going to go back up.
That's what I'm saying. It's already high. Like, that's high. If you got money to blow like that, let me have some of it.
Well, because in the previous prospectus, they were supposed to go up 200,000 more subscribers.
Then all of a sudden...
And they went down.
Well, because they thought those 2,000 subscribers?
200,000.
They thought that if they decreased the amount of people that could log on under one account, those people would have to be forced to buy their own account. So they thought that maybe they were going to get more, but in reality, maybe it just pissed them off, and they were just like, well, I guess I'm not buying a Netflix account. That could be it too. Bunch of factors going into that. Sucks for him. Hopefully it goes back up for him, but there's a lot of stuff I have that is down that I didn't sell that I thought was going to go up, so but I didn't put...
And now that I'm buying them.
Right. I didn't put all millions of dollars. I'm not losing millions. I'll maybe lose a couple hundreds. Maybe 1,000, but I'm not trying to lose millions.
But it also helped you out in Dogecoin. Because I sold mine when it didn't go up, and you held on to it, and then it spiked.
It spiked up, but I didn't sell it, and now it's back. I mean, I'm still up a lot.
You're up big,
I'm up big, but I wasn't up as big as I was when it got to 80.
You're not the Dogecoin millionaire or nothing, but
I wish.
All you had to do was put $1,000 in. You would have been a millionaire.
Man, this is supposed to be fun. You just made me mad.
Millionaire.
Who would put who would have put $1,000? I mean, I know people did, but during that time, it was. I think I was already laid off at that point. I don't know if I had a job. There was no way I was putting $1,000 in somewhere, like a cryptocurrency that wasn't Bitcoin, that wasn't already established. But if I got in a time machine, I'll tell myself to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. When I was typing in that 0, I would have been whispering in my ear, type in the 2 more zeros. Instead of buying 20 shares, I would have said, type in 5 more zeros. Anyways, $20 worth, I would have bought 2,000 instead.
So the Kardashians are back.
Yup.
What do you think the big story is so far?
You watched the first episode, right? We watched together, but there's another one.
I haven't watched the second one, but I watched the first one. But it doesn't
So
matter.
of course, well, no, I'm just saying. Of course, the first episode starts off with Kim and her famous tape again. being like held over her head, which is what happened in the first episode of
the
original season, which I found very interesting and schemy. But I mean, she looked genuine, like she was really concerned about it. But I just found it very interesting that was the case. That her Ray J's, somebody related to Ray J, a manager or whatever, apparently had and was threatening to release an unseen clip of it, and they wanted to get paid and all this stuff. So basically, like, now that Kim's a lawyer, or trying to get her be a lawyer. In that episode, she was not a lawyer yet, but she was trying to get her lawyer on. She was like, I do not care how much this costs, because she has it now. She was like, I will handle this just for the principle of it, and I will squash all of them and all this stuff. So, but I mean, that's 20 years ago. So it's like, is it really like, why does she have to keep going through that? 20 years ago, she's got kids, like, she's got, 8-year-old and 10-year-old kids, 4 kids.
Well, see, I think it came up on her kid's iPad or something. I think that was what made it, like...
Oh, yeah.
Like, number one, how is this advertisement coming up on your kid's iPad?
And the only reason she knew about it, she probably would have never known if it wasn't her ugly cry face that said, click now to watch Kim's latest whatever. Mm-hmm. And he was like, Mommy, look at your face. And he didn't know because he can't read. But, like, how embarrassing is that? Like, if, at a family function, your kid brings it over to you to relive basically like your past, and I don't know. They're still talking about an episode 2, but not as much anymore. So I'm waiting to hear about episode 3. I'm sure they'll have it wrapped up by then. But
I think the big story for episode 1 is like who wasn't there, because they're basically having a little celebratory dinner that they're back.
Oh yeah, Scott wasn't there.
And it's like, well, who's not going to be in these episodes?
I think who is it?
Caitlin, bro.
Oh, I was gonna say Scott wasn't in. Scott's still in the episodes. He wasn't really in.
Like who in the old episodes, who made the show?
Well, rewatching the old seasons, Bruce definitely has / Caitlin is. His little funny slick comments, To
me, he was the show. Back in the day. Like,
he was like...
He's the one that's like, you messed up.
Yeah,
you gotta go tell Bruce. Like,
he was not villain, but he was the one that was like opposing whatever they were really doing. Like all these nude scenes that they were, or shootings, video, photos that they were taking for magazines. He was against it because he's obviously very conservative too. Back then he said he was very conservative and all that, but
he's still politically conservative,
but he might have, you never know, he might make a cameo appearance on there. But
no, he did an interview with the Note Boys, and they basically just said they didn't want him on it.
Really?
Yeah.
He told them that?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, because he's a part of the family, but they're not together anymore.
Right.
She's got her own new boo, which I guess was her makeup artist? Security guard. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's right. So...
Yeah.
For all those security guards out there, you can make it too. Just keep working hard.
And working for famous people.
But yeah, to me, the old shows were made by him. So if he's not on the season, then that's going to be disappointing to me.
Yeah.
But then they're also basically cutting Scott out. you know, they had him in the episode, but, you know, he's basically not part of the family anymore.
I mean, technically he is. They try to make him feel like he is, and like they're like, Scott, you'll always be a part of this family. They say that, but like he still is not over Courtney. So inviting him to family functions where Courtney is now all over Travis Barker, which used to be Scott, you know, in the past episodes, you know, she used to be all over Scott. Now she's all over Travis Barker. Like, that's got to be very uncomfortable for Scott because he still very much loves Courtney, even though he didn't.
You know how, you know, in Bridgerton, they had like the younger son was painting people. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I felt like Courtney and Travis were. Like, she was like attacking the person being painted the whole episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in the center and then she was just like pounce.
I mean, but in the second episode, they went to go look at a house together because they ultimately want to live together and see if they can find a spot that they'll equally like. And the realtor's like showing them around, and they're just like he's mid-sentence talking, and they just kind of walk over to the pool, and the realtor's like, all right, and he sits down and she jumps on him, and he's just grabbing her butt, and they're like making out and talking, and I mean, and the realtor's like, all right, like, so apparently that's a common thing we're gonna see. But you know, I'm interested to see. I think Travis Barker being on the show is going to be great. I've already, you know, we watched the part where he was teaching Courtney's daughter how to play the drums. They were playing the drums back and forth together. Like, yeah, I feel like cool. That was really cool. Like, she's really good, and maybe she would have never got that experience
or idea
to play the drums if she had never met Travis. And so I feel like he's opened up or shown them a different side, Courtney and her family, a different side of what love can be like. And
she's gonna be like Willow Smith.
What do you mean?
Child star.
I
whip my hair back and forth. Whip my hair back with the drums. You know?
Was Willow Smith that?
She just did a song.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got a production company, like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he can push her forward in the rock world.
She definitely looks like a little rocker.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes. We already kind of know how Chloe's situation plays out, but I'll be interested to see behind the scenes. You know, how Tristan basically fathers another baby. So this is his third baby by 3 different women. Mm-hmm. After he said he was supposed to be with Chloe, you know, they were together, and so we already kind of know how that plays out, and we know that Kylie's pregnant, or they're going to show that she's pregnant. I think they did show she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see all their different like lifestyles. I hope, and how their business ventures are going, because that's really what I'm more interested to see. And hopefully Rob's on it, because he hasn't really been on anything for a long time. I think he stopped showing up on the show for a while. I mean, in the past. So I'm interested to see Rob and see how he's doing, and his daughter's like super cute. Maybe she'll be on there, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm interested. Like I said, we've only watched 2 episodes. I've only watched 2 episodes.
Well, they're not. It's not like Netflix, right? It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
So it drops weekly, right?
Mm-hmm. The next one drops Thursday.
Now that I got used to Netflix and them dropping everything, and I can binge watch it, like.
Yeah, I'd rather do that, but you know, I guess in between the next week show, I watch the old seasons. Just to be like, dang, like look how far they've come, and what they look like, and how they acted originally versus how much they've grown.
But I will say the production value has like 100x.
Yeah.
Like,
they hired some good people.
Like, these are some professional people. Like, they're doing crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in their transitions and, you know,
their cuts.
And their their cuts.
The what's it called? Drones.
Yeah, they got drone shots. You know, it's called B-roll, is what it's called.
B-roll. Yeah.
Yeah, most of the B-roll back in the day was just of the house.
Yeah, it'll just be like house, cars on freeway, like, you know, Kim's car.
It's low production value, and now it's like they're producing like high quality
It's next
stuff.
level. Yeah.
So
that's great. Yeah.
But then she, you know, was basically preparing for. Kim was basically preparing for Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out that was like one of the best Saturday Night Lives in a long time.
Yeah. Then we watched it.
She basically made fun of her whole family.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
And it was hilarious. Like everything the tabloids would say about herself or her family.
She said it.
You know, they were making fun of it, and
I think she did great. She was a great host. I thought she was funny. Her outfits were great. It was the right amount of. It wasn't like over the top making fun of them. It was done very tastefully, and we watched the Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, you made me watch it.
Yeah, I made him watch it.
I liked it, so
it was good. So, go Kim. Everything you do, you succeed. So, like, I don't think she's ever failed at anything. So. I mean, she failed her.
They had to close some stores and stuff, but
I don't think that was because of failure. I think it's because of they kind of all went their different ways. Like they all were owning stuff together. I was gonna say she didn't fail anything. She failed. She got a divorce. So that was the one thing you failed at. But it's fine. It happens.
Divorces.
Sorry. You didn't fail at love because you keep finding it. So good job. I'll be worried about you when you stop finding it, but I'm very interested to see the next episode, and I definitely like the Kardashians and support and the Jenners, the Jenners, and I support them. I think they're very interesting people with good business mindset.
That's one thing you really learn from them is their business stuff. They're from marketing to you know everything.
Their momager.
Yeah. That
takes 10% off of everything. They say that a lot too in the beginning of the episodes. That their mom does take 10%. They make sure they bring that out and say that very frequently in the beginning episodes. So, but if your mom is killing it and she's booking you and she's handling everything for you, she does deserve 10%. Keep it in the family.
So that was honestly that TikTok is what made me watch it with you.
What?
That first episode was her on the treadmill saying, "It's 7 a.m. Like, why aren't people answering the phone?"
It's basically
like, where are you at?
It's basically lunchtime.
It's basically lunchtime. Like that TikTok made me watch that. I was like, man, that's like hustling.
That's hustling, yeah.
But that just means a lot of their products made in China. So she's calling China.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Just so y'all know.
Chris, call China. Do your thing, boo.
But we hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on in your world so we can talk about it.
For sure.
This is the So What You Want to Talk About podcast. I'm Nate.
I'm Meredith.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Peace.